All right, welcome back to another After Dark, everyone. Hope you all are having a good night so far. I wanted to check in with my buddy Johnny Arnett here. I saw a video come up on my feed called the Top 10 Most Clutch Players of All Time, and this sounds right up my alley. So, clutch is something I've always valued in a player. It's a rare thing to have. Anybody can get lucky and hit a couple of game winners, but to do it on a consistent basis is a very rare trait. So I'm excited about this one because it's probably going to highlight a lot of my favorite players. As you all know, I'm going to link the original video from Arnett down below in the description. So if you want to check that out without my commentary, feel free, go right ahead. Everybody else, please leave a like to this video. Helps out a ton, and I appreciate you all every time. So without a long intro here, let's get right into the meat and potatoes. I welcome you to the coolest YouTube intro in the basketball community, in my opinion.
So with the topic of today's video, I'm sure everyone in this comment section will be extra civil. Today, we're looking at the top 10 most clutch players in NBA history.
Let's do it.
According to me, of course.
Yeah.
Now, as always, this is just my opinion. And this list is especially difficult to rank because there's a lot of different factors at play, and a lot of different ways to categorize the aspect of clutch. With that being said, these were my factors into ranking this list. First, were you great at making big shots in the final 2 minutes? Second, big shots in the playoffs will count even more significantly than big shots in the regular season.
For sure.
Also consider the volume of clutch shots. If a player is super selective and doesn't attempt that many game-winning shots, then of course, that's not going to bode as well for his ranking.
I like that. Like based on whatever team it is that you play for, how often are you the one taking those clutch shots? That's an interesting little factor in there.
Also, I'm looking at how the player overall improved his production in the postseason.
Yeah.
Poor performances in the playoffs will negatively affect a player's ranking.
Yeah, sorry, James
So
Harden.
if a player has many instances where he came up small in the postseason, then he won't be as high on this list, or he might not even make the list altogether. The player also essentially needs to be a star, because it's one thing to be the clutch player who everybody is expecting to have the ball in their hands when the clock winds down. But it's something else entirely for a role player to play off ball and not be watched with the same attention as a star player. So on my list specifically, you'll only see superstar players.
I was actually thinking about Robert Horry, and I was also thinking about Tony Kukoc off the top of my head as some role players who happen to be clutch as all hell.
Essentially, I'm calling this the Robert Horry rule.
Yeah.
And lastly, you gotta have some huge balls to make these shots. So since we're on the topic, I suggest you take care of yours. Which is why today's video is brought to you by Manscaped.
That's a good transition into Manscaped, man. You went from the Sam Cassell big balls to an advertisement to shave your balls. All right, everybody. The code, let's get to the code. Save 20% off. Promo code Johnny A. All right, Manscaped.
A at manscaped.com.
Shave them balls.
Let's get into it. Starting with number 10, Ray Allen. He's one of the greatest shooters in NBA history, and he has numerous game winners both in the regular season and in the playoffs.
For sure.
This guy had limitless range, so basically, when the clock was winding down, you had to be all over him regardless of where he was at on the court.
Yeah, Ray Allen's one of those cases of repetition to the point where he has no fear, because he's shot any one of these shots a billion times.
Famously, he hit what I believe is the most clutch shot in NBA history.
It's the hardest
one.
one.
He made this iconic corner three-point shot, which kept his Miami Heat from elimination in 2013, where they eventually went on to win the championship. He's also had some very legendary moments in the playoffs where he's been clutch. Famously, he had an epic battle with Allen Iverson in the 2001 Eastern Conference Finals, where he put up some ridiculous numbers over the course of the series. He was also huge on many occasions for the Boston Celtics, as he won an NBA championship with them in 2008.
Yep.
But one of the series that I really remember from him especially was the historic first-round battle against the Chicago Bulls in 2009, where Ray Allen was the leading scorer for his team. When you look over the course of his career and playoff career, there is no shortage of big shots from this legendary sniper. Number 9.
By the way, just side bit, I've been hearing murmurs that the Seattle Supersonics, well, at least Seattle is going to get another basketball team. In the comments, just as a side bit, give me your information, you guys. If you know anything about that, how cool would it be for the Supersonics to come back? That's all I'm thinking about. I loved that team.
Reggie Miller.
Reggie, for sure.
He was one of the most clutch players from the 1990s.
Heck, I might put him in my top 5 clutch list. This guy is insane.
And like Ray Allen,
not Johnny. Reggie Miller's fucking insane.
He also was an all-time great sniper.
Yep.
Famously, he was a New York Knicks destroyer, especially in the playoffs. For example, in Game 5 of the 1994 Eastern Conference Finals, Reggie dropped 25 of his 39 points in the fourth quarter alone.
That's clutch.
And what was one of the most blistering displays of clutch shooting that the league has ever seen. He also famously scored 8 points in just 9 seconds in another game against New York, sealing the clutch victory. Another epic game winner in the playoffs was his game-winning 3 over Michael Jordan in Game 4 of the 98 Eastern Conference Finals. There was also the 2002 first round, and in a winner-go-home situation, Reggie hit game-tying clutch shots at the end of regulation and at the end of overtime. He's certainly worthy of a spot on this list.
For sure. Before we get too far, I just wanted to put out my top 3. It's going to be a little bit controversial, but this is seriously, this is just how I feel. I can only answer this question as far as your life is on the line. If someone misses this next shot, I die. So like, I have to, like, this is not an emotional thing. Number 1, Larry Bird. Number 2, Michael Jordan. Number 3, Kobe Bryant. That's my top 3. But I'm a Jordan guy, obviously. Y'all know that. But Larry Bird, life on the line, I'm trusting him to make the shot. Like, he'll bomb a 3. I don't care where he shoots it from. I'm trusting him to make that shot. I'm curious what Johnny has as his number 1, actually. I wonder if we line up here.
Number 8, Tim Duncan. He might seem like a surprising addition to this list to many people.
No, he's hit 1,000 clutch shots, including on my Suns in the playoffs, including a 3-pointer to seal the deal on us. No, he is incredibly clutch. He's just quiet about it.
But he actually has more clutch shots than most people realize. Like his absurd fadeaway over Shaquille O'Neal in the 2004 playoffs.
Bang.
Or how about his game-tying 3 in the 2008 playoffs against the Phoenix Suns?
That's the one.
In a game where he also dropped 40 points and added 15 rebounds.
Yeah, and he did that on Shaq.
Whether it was in his youth or in the twilight of his career, Duncan almost always showed up during the biggest games, which is the biggest reason why he has his 5 championship rings.
Yes, sir.
But the 2003 NBA Finals is where he especially had his epic moment, as he put up a clutch, series-long performance for the ages, with some truly goofy averages. In the championship-clinching 6th game, Duncan put up a near quadruple-double. And honestly, when you go back and look at the film...
Dang. That's tribute to his guy, freaking David Robinson, who actually pulled it off. He had 8 blocks. Damn. 20 rebounds, too. That's no matter what. I mean... That's a triple-double with 40 and 20. That's already disgusting. Even just getting 46 and 20 is disgusting. Adding on 10 assists that's God tier. And then you happen to get 8 blocks. It's funny he got 0 steals. He had to slack off somewhere. Damn, man.
He almost certainly should have got that quad, which would have made it the first ever quadruple-double in NBA playoff history.
Oh, yeah,
let alone the NBA Finals. Number 7, Hakeem Olajuwon.
Interesting.
This is one guy who's on this list probably for more of his clutch moments on the defensive end rather than the offensive end.
Okay, now I'm on board. Because I was going to say, I don't know of a lot of big clutch shots he's made. But yeah, defensively, yeah, let's see what he has to say. I think I'm going to agree.
For example, he made the iconic game-sealing block in Game 6 of the 1994 NBA Finals. But probably what Hakeem is best known for is how he clutchly outperformed the best big man competition of the time.
Yeah.
Which I would say was easily the strongest era of the big man in NBA history. At one point or another, in the playoffs, he destroyed David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, and Shaquille O'Neal, on his way to back-to-back NBA championships. If you look at his level of production in the regular season compared to the playoffs, then you'll quickly see why he is a very deserving candidate for this list.
Yep, I'm
Number
with you.
6, Kobe Bryant.
Ooh, okay, so much lower than I had Kobe.
No matter how you factor in game-winning shots, Kobe is up there for the most game winners in NBA history.
Heck, he's done in one season more game-winning shots than most people who play 20 years as a star have in their entire careers. Kobe was nuts.
Whether it's the regular season, the playoffs, the final 2 minutes, or the final 5 seconds.
On D-Wade.
Whether the game was tied or they were trailing, Kobe made plenty of them. With that being said, Kobe was always the go-to guy in those clutch situations, which means he shot the ball a lot of times.
One of the reasons, it's not just the last second shot, but why Kobe is so high on my list is that I remember clearly watching, I watched so many games, especially back then. The Lakers, this is especially when he didn't have a very good team with him, they would be down by 15, 20 points at halftime. And they weren't out of the game only because of him, only because of him alone. And he would just start chipping away for a whole half. And more times than not, come back and win the game. It's one of those things you can't just like put it up to luck because he did it so many damn times. And that just made him like clutch for an entire half, which is something special.
Because of that, I also remember many of his misses throughout the years, which kept his percentages from being higher. And if his efficiency was better in these situations, then he would probably be in a top 5 spot for me.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, Kobe typically crushed it in these moments. And a perfect example of that was when Kobe took over Game 4 of the 2000 NBA Finals. After Shaq fouled out, the Mamba was hitting perimeter shot after perimeter shot until the game was sealed. If peak is a factor here, then Kobe also does well, as his 2009 to 2010 season was one of the most incredible displays of clutch shot making that we've ever seen. Number 5, Larry Bird.
Ooh, Bird at 5. All right. Hope I don't see Jordan at 4 then.
Obviously, Bird was one of the greatest perimeter shooters of his era.
Wow. Okay, if I've got him at number 1 and Johnny's got him at number 5, I'm very curious about this top 5. You got my attention, man.
He has tons of game-winning buzzer beaters.
Yep.
With that being said, Bird wasn't just a clutch shot maker, but he was a clutch playmaker overall, whether it was his passing, his shooting, his rebounding, or even his defense. One of those famous instances was when he got this crucial steal in Game 5 of the 1987 Eastern Conference Finals. He also got another clutch game-winning steal in the 1985 Eastern Conference Finals. During the 1980s, his Boston Celtics were in the NBA playoffs a lot, and they were making deep playoff runs consistently thanks to Bird's clutch gene. Number 4, Jerry West.
All right. He's got clutch in his name, Mr. Clutch. I forgot about it. Let's do it.
This man was literally known as Mr. Clutch. And sure, he was 1-8 in the NBA Finals. But that wasn't completely his fault, as NBA free agency didn't exist during his playing days, and I do believe the Boston Celtics were usually the more stacked team. Even in the instances where they lost, 95% of the time Jerry West came up huge. He hit numerous big shots, numerous game winners, and numerous buzzer beaters. One of his most famous clutch shots was when he hit this iconic 60-footer at the buzzer, to force overtime in Game 3 of the 1970 NBA Finals. In 1965, his Lakers went all the way to the NBA Finals, and he averaged an absurd 40.6 points per game over the course of those playoffs. With a minimum of 4 games played, that is easily the highest scoring average in NBA playoff history. And then, in Game 7 of the 1969 NBA Finals, he dropped a 42-point triple-double, which is also famously remembered as the series where he won the Finals MVP despite playing for the losing team.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that. That's insane. I don't remember it like I didn't watch it, but I mean, that's insane to win the most valuable player on a losing team.
You know you gotta be pretty damn clutch if you're gonna be called Mr. Clutch, despite the fact that you lost in the NBA Finals more often than you won.
That's funny. I remember a game in middle school, and I didn't know about the Mr. Clutch title, but I was called Mr. Clutch by my science teacher at the time, who was also my coach, my basketball coach, just because I iced 2 game-winning free throws at the very end of the game. And that was it. Like, for the rest of the season, it was like, Mr. Clutch, Mr. Clutch. I didn't know that was a Jerry West tribute, though. So, stupid me.
Number 3, Magic Johnson.
All right. Magic. Wow, Magic at 3 and Bird at 5. Okay, all right. I want to hear this.
He was a pass-first player. Magic actually has a lot more game-winning shots than most people realize.
He does.
As a playmaker, he was fantastic at finding a good look for himself or creating one for someone else. And he was also an incredible big game performer. Like in the 1980 NBA Finals, where as a rookie, he took over Game 6.
Yeah.
As he started at center in place of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
And he has the most ridiculous stat line ever. Let's see if I can remember it off the top of my head. It was like 40-something points, like let's say 42 points. 18 rebounds and like 15 assists, something crazy like that.
Then moved to various different positions throughout the course of the game. At only the age of
42. Okay, I got the points right, the rebounds. I exaggerated. The assists I exaggerated. I was close. I just got to remember, only 7 assists. I don't care. That's ridiculous. Season on the line, you're a rookie. You're playing center for the first time. You do that. That's clutch.
20 in his rookie season. In Game 6, he put up this ridiculous stat line. That was far from his only clutch performance on the game's biggest stage. In the 1987 NBA Finals, he also put up some ridiculous numbers throughout the course of the series. And of course, he hit this iconic game-winning hook shot in Game 4. He was even clutch in the 1991 NBA Finals, where he lost to Michael Jordan. But throughout that series, Magic put up some goofy numbers, including this absurd stat line in Game 5, despite the fact
people like to pretend like he was washed up by this point just because he contracted HIV shortly after this. No. Dude won an MVP the previous season. And look at this. He's still getting 18.6, 12.4 assists, and 8 rebounds. Like, are you kidding? Plus, he's getting over a steal a game. Like, and he was playing 45 minutes per game. So you want to tell me he was washed when he was still putting up that, he was still doing all this work? I don't know anybody in the modern league who's like 22 years old even, who's putting up 45 minutes a game. So yeah, he was not washed, dude. Magic is a freaking beast still. I miss that dude playing.
Numbers, including this absurd stat line in Game 5, despite the fact that he was missing James Worthy and Byron Scott in that contest.
Wow. Triple-double, 16 points and 20 assists.
The only reason why Magic Johnson isn't in one of my top 2 spots is because of his performance in the 1984 NBA Finals, where he was briefly known as Tragic Johnson.
Tragic Magic, right?
That was really his only instance of coming up small when it mattered the most, as he was usually very, very clutch in the playoffs.
He was.
Number 2, Bill Russell.
Okay.
This guy is the ultimate winner, and a guy who was especially obsessed with winning.
Yeah.
He won 11 NBA championships and 12 trips to the NBA Finals. And yes, he dominated, and yes, his roster was stacked. With that being said, many of those championships came down to how he performed when it mattered the most. For example, throughout Russell's career, he played in 10 Game 7s in the playoffs, and he was a perfect 10-0 in those Game 7s.
Yeah, that's
Usually,
true. I forgot to factor that in with Bill. Never lost a Game 7. It's one of the coolest stat lines, like how we say like Jordan 6-0 in the finals. Like this is really, really cool too. Never lost a Game 7. For Jordan, we say never even had to go to a Game 7.
Deciding games were decided
in the finals, that is.
by just one possession, including Game 7 of the 1962 NBA Finals, where he dropped 30 points, 40 rebounds, and 4 assists to defeat the Los Angeles Lakers. Even in his...
And that was 53 minutes of playtime. So Johnny said this was an overtime game, so he played all 48 minutes, and then he played all 5 minutes of the overtime? Is that right? That's disgusting if you did that.
And 4 assists to defeat the Los Angeles Lakers. Even in his final championship season, Russell was clutch when it mattered the most, as he took over Game 7 of the 1969 NBA Finals with his amazing defense. He may have not hit many game-winning shots, and he may have not been the greatest scorer, but with that being said, his gifts got even greater when the games mattered the most, and that's why he has more rings than fingers. Number 1, Michael Jordan.
It's funny, this is going to be the one time I disagree with somebody as far as putting Jordan on number 1 on a list, but it's not really that I disagree, honestly. It's just the gun to the head analogy that I would put Bird above there. Jordan is I could do the same and argue that Jordan is the most clutch player of all time easily as well. I just think Bird he's even a notch above everybody else. And then it's MJ, and then it's everybody else. Yeah. All right, this is cool. This is cool, Johnny.
Was 6-0 in the NBA Finals, and was usually breaking records while winning them.
Yeah, 6-0 in the finals, 2 for 2 in gold medal games. Never lost a game in the Olympics, and 1 for 1 in NCAA championships. Guy never won. The guy never lost when he was in a championship situation. You know, like win or go home. He never lost in that scenario, and that is just insane to me.
In the 1991 NBA Finals, he became the first player to average at least 30 points and 10 assists in the same final series. In the 92 Finals, he broke the NBA record for the most points scored in a half, 4 3-pointers made in a half, and he tied the record for the most 3-pointers made in a finals game. In 1993, he set the record for the most points averaged in a finals series, and that was while being guarded by an all-defensive player.
Yeah, that's him cooking my sons. Always shocks me. And this is, like, to me, the most important thing. This is all impressive. 51% shooting. That's what blows my freaking mind. Because he was putting up the most ridiculous shots. I don't understand how he did that. I don't get it. And he was exhausted, too. We know from watching The Last Dance how drained he was by this point. You know, on his 3rd championship in a row, he was dead tired, and he was still putting up 41 points on 51% shooting, and he didn't slack off because he got 6 assists and 8.5 rebounds. Man, against the MVP Charles Barkley. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm a Suns fan. These things still hurt.
On the series, MJ averaged 41, 8, and 6 on 51% shooting.
Yeah.
In 1996, he had a final series that was below his usual standard.
It was.
But what's considered a weak series for MJ is 27, 5, and 4.
I know, I love that. Yeah, it was his shooting. His shooting was bad this time. But it's so funny. If it wasn't for the Jordan standard, you go, oh yeah, you got 27, 5, and 4. Like, that's pretty good, man. And you got 2 steals a game. You know, you must be one of the greatest ever. Yeah, no, he's having a bad series.
While being the finals MVP. In 1997, he hit the game-winning buzzer beater to win the first game. And then he won the famous flu game with his tremendously clutch performance.
Yeah.
And in 1998, MJ scored the largest portion of a team's points in the NBA Finals, as he scored 45 of the Bulls' 87 points in the deciding sixth game.
I know. We watched that together recently, and that was so cool to see because he was dead tired out there. Pippen was busted up and couldn't help much, but was trying his best. And Jordan just kind of conserved his energy until the end. And the last 2 minutes of the game, it was all him. Like, it was all him. He brought it home.
He also sealed the game with the final steal and the final 2 baskets.
Yep, and before that, a layup and then 4 free throws. So, according to my count, I believe, and confirmed in the comments, he scored the last 8 points for the Bulls, and it was all within, like, those last, 2 minutes. Like, he not only that, but he also got the steal, too. And they were all swishes, which is a cool thing, because he was shooting short that whole game because he had no legs and he was tired. But when they all counted... at the very end, swish after swish after swish. Yeah, I get it. Jordan, if Jordan ain't the clutchest guy in the world, it's Bird. But I think probably the two of them can stand on top of the mountain with me. You know, not with me. I mean, for my list.
Which included this iconic game
They're
winner.
special.
MJ performed the best when it mattered the most.
Sure.
And he never disappeared on the game's biggest stage.
Nope.
He efficiently hit tons of game winners in the regular season and the playoffs, all while never allowing a final series to reach a 7th game. Without question, Michael Jordan is the most clutch player in the history of the game.
Easily. Well,
here is my list of honorable mentions.
Okay.
Should any of these players have made the top 10 instead?
I'm going to take a quick pause here. James Worthy, I don't believe so. Well, okay, wait. If I can get rid of the, because he started out the list by saying like they need to beat the stars. That's one thing I would disagree with. Like I don't think you need to beat a star to be on this list. So I'm just gonna remove that real quick because like James Worthy, not the star. Robert Horry, not the star. I still wouldn't go with Worthy. Vince Carter is a tough one because he really was clutch as all hell. Robert Horry, we know what he's done to everyone's favorite teams. He's broken the hearts of everyone. He might be, but he's not. He hits the big shots. That's why we call him Big Shot instead of clutch, because he'll hit it, but it's not like leading up until that moment. He's the most clutch. John Havlicek, I don't know enough about his clutch history to comment on it. Lillard, if we're just counting one shot like Robert Horry, he's in the same category as Horry. You need one shot and, 2 seconds on the clock. Dame is a great person to dish it out to. Isaiah, I wouldn't say so. Not that he's not clutch, but not a top 10. Bob Pettit, once again, not enough about his clutch experience to comment. Kareem, I don't know. It's not that he's not clutch. It's just I wouldn't put him on the list. Shaq, I would not. Rick Barry, and that's not hate towards Shaq, but he... In the last minute of the game and in crucial games, he was often either on the bench or he was trying to stay away from trouble because the hack a Shaq thing. And we know he shot, about 50% from the free throw line. So if he were to step up and start making free throw after free throw in the clutch time, I would definitely have him on the list, but he didn't quite do that. Rick Barry was very clutch. Mikan, can't comment. Because I haven't seen enough footage. Steph Curry, I thought about that. I still wouldn't have him top 10, but he is definitely clutch at times. He's more of my kind of clutch, which is like he's doing like the Reggie Miller or like Kobe Bryant thing, like leading up to the clutch moment. He'll bring his team back from a blowout, no problem. LeBron James, I would not personally. I've seen him crumble way more than I've seen him rise above. Melo, I personally wouldn't have Melo on the list. Dolph, can't comment. Dirk, that's hard. Dirk is clutch. I still wouldn't have him on the list. Okay, anybody here that I would? Not KD, Joe Johnson, Willis Reed, Allen Iverson. No, I think the list is good. I think you got a pretty good list here, man.
I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching as always. Make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Absolutely. Good video. Really fun. This was a fun one. I liked it. No controversy, no drama, just some good old basketball chat here. His list is quite a bit different than my list. However, most of the same names are there. It's just in a different order. So I think that's damn well close enough, because there's no way you're gonna find two human beings that would agree on a top 10 and in the exact same order as another. And if that's the case, then someone is lying. Someone's full of crap there. But yeah, very, very cool list. I was really happy to see Ray Allen and Reggie Miller up there, because a bunch of the other ones I was like, for sure it's going to be there. But it's good to see somebody else acknowledge how clutch those guys were. Ray Allen, he got his spot in the finals when he played for the Heat, so everybody knows what he can do. But not a lot of people recognize just how clutch Reggie Miller was, because he didn't win a championship, but he was doing it on every level. He was always clutch, and like a lot of his contemporaries say, even Bird says, and Bird's a clutch god. It's not just about him hitting the final shot. It's everything he does in the last 2 minutes of a game to get us in a position to win that makes him so special and so clutch. But yeah, Michael Jordan, man, I'd have no problem. You know what it is? If it's anything mid-range or a penetration move, I want MJ to have the ball. So I want both I want him and Bird on my team. If it's going to be a perimeter catch and shoot, that's when I want Bird. Like, we're down by 2, we need 3 points to win. That's where I put Bird on a number 1 spot, because I've seen him literally catch and shoot for the win so many times. While Michael Jordan, I've seen him in transition win a game countless times, you know. But Bird to me was more the catch and shoot. So if we have 4 seconds or more, I'm going to Jordan. If we have 3 seconds or less, I'm going to Bird. And that's the way I would coach the damn team. If I had a dream team at my disposal, that's how I'm coaching. That's what I'm doing down the line. I'll let everybody know ahead of time. This is what we're doing. So you all know what we're doing down the stretch. Anyways, everybody, thank you for watching. I appreciate you all. Please leave this video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. And what do you think? Do you agree with Johnny? Do you disagree with Johnny? You know, what about my takes as far as the differentials and my positioning? Do you disagree with me? Let me know down below in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you all very soon. See you all tomorrow in the next one, okay? Peace out.